For years, Nicole Murphy has been open about why she kept Eddie Murphy's last name after their marriage ended. She once explained that people often questioned her decision, asking, "Why do you still go by Murphy?" Her response was simple.
Name.
And I always get asked that question, how come you still have Murphy? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, listen, I was married to that man for years, okay? I earned my name. I deserve my name. I have 5 children with that name. I didn't see any harm in keeping my last name.
She was married to Eddie for many years. She had 5 children with him, and she felt she had earned the name. In her eyes, keeping it wasn't hurting anyone. She said they would always be family, no matter what happened between them. But here's the twist. Sources have long whispered that Nicole never actually wanted the divorce in the first place. Allegedly, the real reason she finally filed was because she couldn't handle Eddie's constant stepping out, along with his unusually close friendship with singer Johnny Gill. Now, it's not uncommon for men to be extremely close friends. That in itself isn't strange. But the bond Eddie and Johnny shared raised a lot of eyebrows. Rumors swirled for years that their connection was more than platonic. They were even said to have worn matching bracelets, and the gossip became so strong that Johnny Gill ended up taking a lie detector test to prove that nothing romantic was going on between them. In an interview, Johnny admitted that it was a strange situation to even be in. He said the rumor had been circulating for so long that it started affecting his career. Record labels were reportedly hesitant to work with him because of the speculation, fearing backlash. He recalled that Nicole had friends who would bring up the gossip, and although she never pressured him to prove anything, he decided on his own to take the polygraph test as a way of making a point. Still, Nicole apparently couldn't ignore everything she had seen and heard during her marriage. The whispers about Eddie and Johnny stuck with her, and it's said that she began to believe there might have been more truth to them than anyone wanted to admit. And it's not like this was the only time Eddie found himself in a questionable situation. Long before the rumors with Johnny Gill, Eddie had already faced public scandals that fueled speculation about his private life. Despite being linked to a long list of women and fathering multiple children with them, people have often claimed that his relationships with women were more of a cover than the full picture. One incident in particular nearly destroyed his career. In 1997, Eddie was pulled over by police in West Hollywood at around 4 a.m. during what was supposed to be a routine traffic stop. But when officers looked inside his vehicle, they discovered that he wasn't alone. Sitting with him was a 20-year-old transgender escort named Addison Shalimar Sully. When questioned, Eddie tried to explain the situation by saying he was just being kind. According to him, he had seen someone in need and offered a ride. That was it. He insisted that there was nothing inappropriate going on. But the public wasn't buying it. The timing was suspicious, especially since Nicole and the children were reportedly out of town at the time. People began to wonder why Eddie was picking up strangers at 4 in the morning if he had nothing to hide. In later statements, Eddie strongly denied being gay. He said it was unfair to have his character, morals, and sexuality questioned just because he had tried to help someone. But by then, the damage was already done. The headlines were everywhere, and his reputation took a major hit. For Nicole, all of this piled together, the constant gossip, the scandals, the unusual closeness with Johnny Gill, seemed like too much to handle. Even if Eddie insisted there was nothing more to these stories, Nicole had seen enough to believe otherwise. And while she might have wanted her marriage to last, staying in it meant living with rumors and suspicions that never seemed to go away. In the end, she chose to walk away. Keeping the Murphy name may have symbolized the years she invested, the family they built, and the love that once existed, but it also reminded everyone of the complicated history behind their split. Back in the late 90s, Eddie Murphy found himself in the middle of a scandal that he's still remembered for. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Eddie explained what happened that night. He said his wife and children were out of town and he couldn't sleep, so he decided to head to a late-night newsstand to grab something to read. On his way there, around 4:45 in the morning, he noticed a young woman who looked upset, standing on the corner.
Someone you were involved with, and because of the gay rumors,
you actually did a polygraph test with her?
Yeah.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
That's wild to have to actually go through that extent to show that you're straight. Like that's crazy to me.
You know, it was crazy because the rumor had been going for so long.
Yeah.
And so you start to realize and look at certain things, like I said, like a record label. They was talking to a record label. I was like, well, we would, but I think, isn't he gay? So we don't want to, it's like, so we hear it's all this stuff that's going. And I remember her telling me about her friends saying this and saying that, and blah, blah, blah. She never asked me to do it, but I wanted to show her something. I wanted to prove a point
According
to her.
to Eddie, she seemed like a beautiful Hawaiian girl who was crying. When she recognized him, she called out, "Oh, Eddie." Surprised, he asked why she was out so late. She told him she was on her way home and asked if he could give her a ride. Eddie later claimed he thought he was simply helping someone who was in distress. But the woman wasn't just any stranger. She was a transgender escort, and once the story hit the news, the world had questions. Eddie insisted there was nothing more to it, but not everyone believed him. Then came more whispers. Octavia St. Laurent, a well-known trans woman and outspoken personality, later claimed that she and Eddie had been romantically involved. She accused him of hiding their relationship and acting ashamed of her. Octavia was never one to bite her tongue, and she dared Eddie to deny it publicly. In her words, men like him wanted to keep up a macho image in front of their wives and children, while secretly living a different life behind closed doors. All of this was happening while Eddie was still married to Nicole Murphy. So when Nicole eventually filed for divorce, rumors immediately started to swirl that one of the reasons she walked away was because of Eddie's questionable friendships, especially his very close bond with R&B singer Johnny Gill. Talk of Eddie and Johnny being more than friends dates back to the 90s. Fans began to notice how inseparable they were, and speculation grew. Things only got messier when Eddie's short-lived marriage to Tracy Edmonds ended. Johnny jumped into the drama, pointing fingers at Tracy's mother and blaming her for the split. Tracy clapped back quickly, calling Johnny's comments pathetic and accusing him of spreading desperate lies to protect his own reputation. Her statement made people wonder, why was Johnny so invested in Eddie's personal relationships, and what did he really know? The situation raised even more eyebrows when one of Johnny's ex-girlfriends revealed why she broke up with him. She said she couldn't handle his friendship with Eddie, describing it as strange and admitting she felt like she was competing with their bond. Adding fuel to the fire, sources claimed that Johnny even lived in a guest house on Eddie's property.